Hello everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and it's that time of the year again. It's time for us to bid a fond farewell to the year by celebrating the best games that came out this year. This is the Cream of the Crop 2019 edition. Now, if you don't know what the Cream of the Crop is, if you're new to the channel, basically this is the video where I talk about my personal favorite games of the year, and this year was really good for video games. Lots of nice, high-quality stuff, and we have a record amount of games to talk about on this video for Cream of the Crop. Ever since I ditched the top 10 formula and just went to Cream of the Crop, we got nine games to talk about. 9! Last year we had 6. This year we have 9. 1 honorable mention and then 8 games that deserve a spot. So without further ado, strap yourselves in, folks. Let's get started with Cream of the Crop 2019. So, the prestigious honorable mention this year goes to Dragon Quest XI for the Nintendo Switch. To be honest, if Dragon Quest XI had come out this year, it would have easily been my pick for Game of the Year. Easily, no questions asked. Here you go, Dragon Quest XI. You would have gotten that Game of the Year. My love-hate relationship with Square Enix is not a big secret. I mean, I've made multiple videos about them over the years that's had titles such as Square Enix needs a serious reality check and Square Enix is run by fucking idiots. And even though my history with them has been very rocky in recent times, I am more than willing to praise them when they make something I love. I'm always rooting for them to make great games. And I love the living hell out of Dragon Quest XI. It's the kind of game I've begged Square Enix to make for years. One that pays full respect to the genre that they themselves created and popularized. More than any other publisher, they are a titanic influence on my taste in history as a gamer. And Dragon Quest XI reminds me why I fell in love with their work so long ago. It's an ambitiously huge epic JRPG with an overwhelmingly crazy amount of story to experience. Great story to experience too, I might add. It's got a terrific cast of characters that I grew to love, beautiful graphics, and many modern quality of life features that you can choose to activate or leave off for a more traditional JRPG experience. And all those little extra quality of life features and the reorchestrated soundtrack, in my opinion, that's what makes the Switch version the best one to get out of the bunch. Easily the best one to get out of the bunch. To give you an idea of how huge this game is, the eShop demo of it, the demo of it, is 10 hours long. That's right. The demo of Dragon Quest XI is longer than some AAA $60 games out there, and it barely scratches the surface of what the full game has to offer. It is a magnificent achievement for Square Enix. If you are any self-respecting JRPG fan out there like me, you owe it to yourself to buy this game immediately. Kind Words is one of the stranger games I've had on a Cream of the Crop list, because it isn't exactly a game. It's more like a tool. Basically, the concept of Kind Words is your player avatar sits in a customizable room listening to music, while you write short letters about anything. You then send those letters off to the community and can get responses from anyone that wants to write you something back. And these letters can be about anything. Topics can range from you wanting to vent after a bad day, to asking the community what a good movie to watch for a specific mood you're in is, to just sharing something cool that you did. However, they can also get into much darker and more complex topics such as depression, survivor's guilt, divorce, and suicide. For someone like myself who can't afford professional therapy and doesn't want to burden the people around me with my crap, this has actually been a really great tool to use for when I need to just be heard about something I'm thinking or worried about. I also have to give the developers a special commendation for curating and policing this community really well, like shockingly well. A tool like this is ripe for abuse, and the developers have done a stellar job of stemming the tide of potential toxicity that could crash over this community. I've been using kind words for a few months now, and I've never once come across a nasty or fucked up letter or word of advice. For all the talk of games being potentially life-changing, kind words is actually one of the very few that deserves that label. For me, Ape Out came out of fucking nowhere. It was one of those blind buys I rarely do, and it surprised the hell out of me with how much I got into it. It's my favorite indie game of the year. Basically, it's the Doom 2016 of percussion jazz, where Doom 2016 makes you feel like you're on a heavy metal roller coaster ride. Playing Ape Out makes you feel like you're at the most hardcore high school jazz band concert ever. In a stroke of brilliance, the percussion score reacts dynamically to your actions in gory kills, and that in turn makes the gameplay all the more exciting. I get physically exhausted playing Ape Out, especially on the higher difficulties, and I mean that as the highest compliment I can. It's a game that pumps me full of adrenaline, the likes of which I haven't experienced since, well, Doom 2016. So yeah, Ape Out. It's really good. It's really all I got for this one. Ever since its reveal in 2016, the whole gaming community has been wondering exactly what the hell is Death Stranding? What kind of game is this? Fresh off of the messy divorce from Konami, what new weird thing is Kojima going to give us? After 3 years of vague hints, trailers full of what the fuck is that imagery, and typical Kojima hyperbole, we finally truly know what Death Stranding is. A hiking / postman simulator. Seriously. What surprises me even more is that Kojima Productions took a concept that sounds fucking awful on paper and turned it into one of the most absorbing gameplay experiences I've had all year. I'm still amazed at how the mad wizards there managed to do it. Even though the game is a lot of walking and a lot of delivering packages from one area to another, the developers found many cool ways to make the act of traversing a landscape fun and engaging. It isn't the boring chore it is in real life, but if you're familiar with Kojima's work, you know that's not the end of it. Kojima and team managed to marry that core gameplay loop with a bonkers story that kept me hooked from beginning to end, and some of the best audiovisual presentation money can buy. Pretty graphics are a dime a dozen nowadays, but Death Stranding's facial capture and environments look so photorealistic at times that they deserve special recognition. I don't want to even imagine how expensive this game was to make. Even when it dips into super pretentious and eye-rollingly silly territory at times, it never lost me. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this weirdo game. It's also kind of a rarity. It's a lavishly expensive AAA game helmed by an auteur that focuses on new gameplay ideas and surrealist concepts that was sold to a wide audience. Make no mistake, this isn't some compromised mishmash of ideas. This is through and through a Hideo Kojima game. You can practically smell him on this game. Don't ask me how I know what Hideo Kojima smells like. I just do. Aw yeah, finally! I get to finally put a Yakuza game on the cream of the crop list. Yeah! Happy times for all! And while Judgment isn't a part of the saga of Kazuma Kiryu, it is still a full-blooded Yakuza game. Even if you've never touched a Yakuza game before, Judgment is a treat to experience. It boasts the signature, wacky, tonally shifting storytelling that the series is famous for, while also giving us a glimpse of a new side of Kamurocho. The new protagonists we get to spend time with are very well written and immensely likable, to the point where I think I like the main guy, Yagami, more than the legendary Kiryu himself. I'm always an advocate for getting bang for your buck, and Judgment continues the series tradition of overwhelming your senses with fun side missions and activities to do outside of the fluid, frenetic combat. It's just a joy to play. However, what I love most about Judgment is that it's one of the funniest fucking games ever made. I laughed so hard to the point of having tears in my eyes multiple times. It's fucking hysterical. Even with some big gameplay missteps and pacing issues here and there, I wholeheartedly recommend this game to anyone, even if they've never touched a Yakuza game before. I had such a good time with Judgment that it makes me even more excited for the amazing looking Yakuza 7. It's another banger from the Yakuza team. And these guys, at this point, I'm gonna say it, they really can do no wrong. Don't act shocked. You all knew this was going to be here. I mean, come on. Come on. To say Kingdom Hearts 3 is special to me is putting it very mildly. This channel wouldn't even exist if it weren't for Kingdom Hearts 3. It's the game this channel has been building up towards. It's the game I put the most hours into this year and have beaten the most times. I've dedicated so many hours to talking about it on the channel prior to and after its release. This is one of the biggest video game events in my life. It's probably my most anticipated game ever. But in the end, what matters is how I feel about it now. Well, despite my complicated feelings towards it, I must say that after spending many hours in its world, I dig the hell out of Kingdom Hearts 3. I know this is oddly going to be a little bit of a divisive entry, but I can only speak for myself. Even with its huge flaws in storytelling and pacing and... oh god, don't even get me started on that fucking Frozen level. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game I've had so much fun with. I've waited 13 years for this game, and for the most part, it was worth the wait. Its gameplay is flashy and spectacular to watch unfold, thanks to its unbelievably incredible graphics and art style. Is it boring by now to say that the music for a Kingdom Hearts game is amazing? Like, drop dead, brilliant, amazing? Even with the legendary pedigree that Yoko Shimomura brings to the table, she outdoes herself here with some of the tracks in this game. It's a work of genius. The high points in this game, oh my god, the high points in this game made my fanboy heart swoon. And there was even one particular moment that I thought was so overwhelmingly powerful and significant that I actually cried with joy, which I think is a first for me in the video gaming department. As I said in my Rise of Skywalker video, I don't mind fan service when it's in the service of something enjoyable. And Kingdom Hearts 3 is pure enjoyable fan service. And yes, it's annoying having to pay extra for the Remind DLC to get shit that should have been in the fucking game to begin with, Square Enix. But I still think the vanilla package is worthy of a spot here. I'm very happy with what we got in the end. And like Dragon Quest XI, this kind of stuff is exactly what I want to see from Square Enix. Not fucking Marvel's Avengers, not Tomb Raider, Not just Cause 4, not The Quiet Man. This is what Square Enix is good at. This is what they need to focus on. Traditional JRPGs and action RPGs. And if Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out and it's great, I think they will have done complete justice to my 3 favorite franchises from them. Like I always say, I'm more than willing to praise Square Enix when they do right by me. And they did very fucking right by me with Kingdom Hearts 3. The fine folks at Obsidian might as well have called this game Fuck You Bethesda, because this game is pretty much the final nail in the coffin that Bethesda have been shamelessly burying themselves in since Fallout 76's embarrassing release last year. It didn't have to be this way, Bethesda. It really didn't. But yet here we are. This is how it's gonna fucking be. People have been begging for years for a proper follow-up to the now revered Fallout New Vegas. And thank Christ Obsidian got away from Bethesda's now poisonous influence to beat their former taskmasters at their own game. In my opinion, The Outer Worlds is better, straight up better, than any Fallout game ever made, including Obsidian's own New Vegas. If you've felt burned like me by Bethesda's recent nasty business practices and behavior, The Outer Worlds is a great remedy for that wound. Basically, everything Fallout does, The Outer Worlds does better. It plays better, looks better, sounds better, and runs better. It's highly replayable thanks to its extensive flexible class creation system and multiple ways each mission can be completed. I'm so happy Obsidian finally came out and showed the whole world that we don't need Bethesda anymore. Goodbye, Bethesda! Bye, Felicia! You can go away now. We don't need you anymore. We don't need Fallout anymore. You also might as well cancel Starfield, because I'm pretty sure Obsidian already beat you to it. We have The Outer Worlds now. Fuck off, Bethesda. Goodbye. We don't need you. Goodbye. Right, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way up front. Yes, Devil May Cry 5 has dumb and completely unnecessary microtransactions and live service elements. Yes, I made 2 videos about how potentially dangerous they can be to players who are a lot more susceptible to this garbage than myself. Now, with that being said, Devil May Cry 5 is almost my favorite Capcom game ever. I'm not even the biggest fan of the series, but I fucking love this ridiculous game. It should speak to how much I love this game that I'm recommending it, even with the big caveat of the stupid microtransactions in mind. It's simply incredible. It feels like an action game that's been plucked straight out of the PS2 era, and it's been given an enormous upgrade in gameplay and graphics. The game is constantly throwing more weapons and movesets at you at light speed to use to your heart's content and master so you look like the ultimate badass. Could I also just say that the RE engine might be in the running for my favorite game engine, I don't know, ever? I mean, this thing is a beast. After Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and now Devil May Cry 5, whatever amount of money Capcom has poured into this engine has been worth it. Even outside of it being a great game to play, it's a great game to just sit back and watch, thanks to its great voice acting, sharp writing, and catchy as fuck soundtrack. I've played through it 3 times now on various difficulties, and I get more enjoyment out of it with each new playthrough. Capcom, they've just been on an insanely good roll these past few years, and I hope they don't stop. It's impressive how they've turned it around from being a publisher I couldn't give 2 shits about during the PS3 era to being one that I actively anticipate their next titles from. They're that good now to me. Seriously, Devil May Cry 5, like I said, almost my favorite Capcom game. If they'd just taken the stupid microtransactions out, this thing might even be above Resident Evil 4 for me. It's that fucking great. Just when I thought From Software couldn't keep the momentum going after Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, they came out and bitch slapped me in the face once again with the excellent Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It's one of the most thrilling and satisfying games to play, thanks in no small part to its immensely challenging gameplay. I can't imagine the work that went into making such a difficult game enormously fun to play. And a lot of that has to do with the masterful combat. I know it's a meme to say that this game made me feel like blank, but Sekiro really did make me feel like a ninja. It gives you so many great tools to use and exciting scenarios to overcome that by the end of the game, you feel like the most badass silent warrior to ever grace feudal Japan. Even for a company known for their iconic boss battles, From Software has raised the bar once again for themselves. Gyoba the Demon, Lady Butterfly, Genichiro, Guardian Ape, the True Corrupted Monk, and Owl, all 6 rank among some of my favorite all-time boss battles ever. Just ever. All 6 were a treat to figure out and defeat in spectacular fashion. And you know what? For all its hype of being an extremely challenging game, and it is an extremely challenging game, it's really underestimated how powerful Sekiro makes you feel once you click with its combat flow and understand its rules. It gave me a sense of power the likes of which I've never felt before in a Soulsborne game. It's like going through your own intense training montage to be a master ninja. To be honest, I felt like quitting a couple times. I have no shame in saying that. I thought I had reached some points where I just couldn't best the challenge the game had placed in front of me, and I wanted to throw in the towel. But the sad part is Sekiro believed in me more than I believed in myself. Even though it beat my ass many times and pushed my face into the dirt, it also subtly encouraged me to get back up each time and whoop some ass. That's the magic behind this kind of game. From Software cranks the difficulty high because it knows you can do it. They believe in you. And like all the other Soulsborne games, the satisfaction that you get from overcoming a really challenging obstacle is crazy addicting. It's indescribable. When I beat some of the bosses after many attempts, I couldn't help but let out a loud cheer each time. And as I said with Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, you earn every win that you get. That's all you. You did that. Yes, you did that. Despite being one of the toughest games I've ever been through, Sekiro made me feel like a winner in the end. It made me feel like I went through the fucking ringer and came out the other end a badass motherfucker. I love this game so much. I love it. It looks gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous. But I wanted to give special focus to the combat and the difficulty because that, to me, is what makes Sekiro special. That difficulty, that combat, those exciting boss battles. That is why you should play Sekiro. It's yet another extremely high quality game in the storied library of From Software. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next with the upcoming Elden Ring. I hope it's great, because they've got some serious boots to fill after Sekiro. Alright, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, my 2019 Game of the Year. And that's it. That's it. Moving on to 2020 now. Thank you so much to everybody that watched. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite games of 2019 were. And as always, I am Razorblade Mango. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.